Oh, they just discard, throw them in a pile out back.
There's if they split it, one is, half it's not used, so they have a. Started splits.
Didn't have proper discard, throw them.
Yeah. All right, there's Dan. All right, welcome everybody to the Sherwood City Council work session at 6:12 p.m. on June 18, 2024. Today we're going to be talking about, we just have one item on our work session today, and that is we're going to talk about our open city manager position and our next steps.
So Leah?
So is there anything, I don't think there's anything we need to read in for this, or I think we're good to go. So I'll just jump right into it. So just going back in time a little bit as a reminder to the folks in here and folks that might be listening. Craig took on the role of interim city manager. I think it was late November, early December last year. We had some conversations early in the year about next steps and going out to recruit. And at that time, as a council, the guidance we gave was let's wait until after budget season, until we get closer to July to address that, because we just had a lot of stuff going on and Craig was doing great jobs at the time. So, so for tonight, we need to talk about what those next steps look like. We really have, in my mind, there's two questions on the table and they kind of go in order. We just had, and for the public, we just had an executive session to talk about Craig's performance, which is a protected meeting under Oregon State Public Meeting Law. So now we're going to talk about contracts and employment and potential next steps. So I think the first question is that I'd like to get some input around the room is do we feel Craig's been doing a good job, and is Craig someone we'd like to have as city manager? And then the second question is do we do a process? If the answer to that is yes, assuming it's yes, but we'll have the conversation. Do we do a process or do we just do a hiring? So I'm just going to open it up for the room right now and just talk about what people's thoughts are in terms of next steps and Craig's role in that.
Yes, he's doing a fantastic job. No, we don't need a process.
I am in favor of offering the job to Craig without doing a recruitment process. I feel like we've had a 7-month, as many people have said, we've had a 7-month interview. I think he's passed it with flying colors. Done a lot of hiring in my career, a lot of interviewing. And I'm always, whenever you can find an in-house candidate, I think that's the best of both worlds for multiple reasons. But for the person or the people in this case doing the hiring, one of the best reasons is you know what you have. Like, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed people and they've just nailed the interview and their resume is amazing and they come in and they meet with the panel and everyone's like, man, this person is the best. And then you hire it. It's like, well, that's not what we got. Because it's easy, they're not easy, but it's hard to get a good read on someone in a day or an hour or, you know, a taped interview or all those things. But when you have a 7-month interview, which was followed a 20-year, you know, career in the city, or maybe more. I'm sorry if I'm shortchanging you. But you know what you have, and you know what you have is a really, really high bar. Like your chances of beating that in an open process are low to begin with, and your chances of falling under it are very high. So I'm absolutely in favor of offering Craig the job permanently. I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, Doug. And before we get too far in the weeds, I apologize. Craig, I know we've talked about this, but for the record, is this something you're interested in?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it, that I've had fun doing it and I am interested. I think that we got a lot of good things going. I think there's a lot of stuff to get done in the next few years. So yeah, I am.
Okay, great. So
I've worked with 5 permanent city managers. I've been involved in hiring 4. 2 were internal and 2 were external. And the 5th one was external. And if I was to rank the 5, the best and the next to the best, both internal. And I'm excited, very excited, the prospect of hiring another internal candidate.
100% agree with
offering you the position. You bring stability and a type of leadership that the city needs. And so, no, I don't think we need to go out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I support the decision to offer the position to Craig, and I do not think that we need to do an extended process or look for additional candidates.
great.
I support the decision to offer a full-time position. I spoke to all direct reports and other random people, and everybody seemed supportive and behind it. And so I know, even though I'm, known you for just a couple years now, the huge amount of experience and the career and all the other stuff adds up to people supporting you in this position, that you need their support and their help and everything else. And so I 100% don't think that we need a process other than if there's something legally required, like we have to post the job or something. But no song and dance needed, I guess, for me.
There are a few processes to consider, and one is the availability of executive session. I had kind of briefly gone over, if executive session is a tool that you want to move forward, there's statutory requirements. And those include advertising the vacancy, adopting a regular hiring procedure, allowing for public comment, and this is allowing public comment about the procedure as well as the candidate.
I think what you're referring to, we want to use an executive session for the hiring process.
Correct.
Okay, so we have to keep.
I have zero interest.
Foresee needing another exec session.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Great, thank you. So, my input's the same. Craig, you've done an amazing job. You're a humble and confident leader. And, I really appreciate that, and made my job easier as a volunteer mayor, so I appreciate that even more. And I agree with everything that was said here today. I think we're lucky to have you, so I agree with moving forward. So with that in mind, for those that might be listening, the city manager position is a contract employee that reports directly to the council, so we need to negotiate a contract. And so I think the next step is to create a small subcommittee that works on that with Sebastian and our legal department and Craig to work out the details of that. And I think that we'd also have them work out the details of pay and bring that back to council for review and approval, all in an open work session. Exactly.
I would like to recommend, and I know you usually take yourself out of this, but I'd like to recommend you be on that committee. I know you usually,
I'd rather have other folks do it.
I know, but you haven't sat on the last few that we've done, and I think because of how closely you work with the city manager, I think that you along with somebody else.
Well, let's, Renee, you had
I'd like to volunteer.
you'd like to volunteer. Anybody else? First of all, does everyone agree with the process?
I'm fine with the
Agree with
process.
Yeah. Anybody else wanna? I mean, I'm more than happy to do it. I usually, it's near.
He's happy to do it too as well, Lisa. But
I'm happy to defer to the rest of you. We'll do it.
Yeah, I did the last one, but I think I'd be okay with anybody else doing it as well. We're in
we could
agreement.
do 3 member, or unless you just want Renee and Keith.
And I don't need to do it, but I'd be happy to do it.
Want to be a team?
Okay.
Do you mind if I do it?
That's great.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank you. And, but I'd really like to thank not only you guys, but I'd really like to thank the staff, because we wouldn't have got through the last 6 months if we didn't operate as a team. And team is big in my mind, and I hope that you guys see that,
Very clear.
and we'll continue to get work done. But it's really a team effort. It's not just me. It's the team, right? And I will go back to that always when there's any compliments or whatever. Because if you don't have a team, you can't do what we've been able to accomplish in the last 6 months to 7 months. So thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Right, you have an amazing team, but I would add that leaders cast long shadows, and you're doing a great job. All right,
It has been a fantastic 6 or 7 months, or however long it's been. You've done a great
Been on my
job.
most enjoyable time on council, and I've been here 8 years.
thank you. Anything else on this, or we good? All right. we will close out our work session and we will, at 6:30, we will start our next meeting, which is Community Enhancement Program. So we got a few minute break here. Huh?
Hey, Brad.
Yeah, we gotta wait for Garrett to get here. Yeah.
Can we turn the mics off while we're
Yeah, won't get too.
in between meetings?
but congratulations.
All right, are we set? We are set. Awesome. Welcome back, everyone. I'm gonna call our Sherwood Solid Waste Community Enhancement Program Advisory Committee to order. As your co-chair, Garrett, I don't see Garrett. Garrett would be our other co-chair.
Yeah, he didn't show up to the first meeting.
So we'll just go ahead and go. So David, you want to do a roll call?
Yes, Tim Rosner,
Here.
Kim Young.
Here.
Keith Mays. Renee Browse.
Yep.
Dan Stankey.
Here.
Doug Scott.
Here.
Taylor Giles.
Here.
And Garrett Rosenthal, he is not here.
Awesome. Thank you. So we got a couple items just to get through real quick. We have approval of the June 6th and June 4th meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
No one has any issue with the minutes? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the June 6th and June 4th, 2023 and 2024 meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right, and then we are back. Sorry, I was not here last week. My kid was returning from Thailand, so I was at the airport. But we're here to talk about the last few programs that didn't get finalized in the last meeting. I wasn't here, so I'm winging this a little bit, but is that the general gist of it?
Yeah, we decided we were gonna come back and just talk about the 5 highlighted items and kind of make some decisions there, so. Really, I'll just turn this over to the committee if we want to talk about the 2 city projects or the 3 out of the 4 American Legion projects, so. I'm gonna move this to, so we can kind of see the.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. The majority have already said fund those 3 top projects.
Yeah, and I wasn't here last week, so you can hear my opinion. I submitted my slate, which is up there, but my take is we fund those projects. The Legion does an amazing amount of good work for this community and our veterans and service members. And I believe in the packet, there was a long list of some of the activities that they're involved with. And they're much like other organizations in town that we've funded over time. I understand that someone was concerned that they're a membership only group, but some of the other grant applications are membership too.
Rotary, Chamber.
In a sense, the BPA is membership because you have to pay to go to see an event or sometimes pay to be part of those classes. So I don't necessarily buy into that.
I guess I brought up that
Yeah.
and I'm fine in supporting these 3 things. I just want to clarify my position on membership things.
Okay, sorry if I speak.
No, that's fine. I think the difference I see between the other things you talked about is the Rotary is a private club and they've asked us to fund things that end up being available to the wider community through an event, as an example, right? The carpet and the chairs and the refrigerator are not going to be made available to a wider community outside of the club. So that was the difference I was drawing. But again, fine, I'm supportive of the road. I'm supportive of the organization. Yeah, I don't.
Can I just say though, I would venture to say that they do, the chairs, the carpet and fridge do support the wider community because they open their building for events such as the Veterans Day, all you can eat spaghetti for all veterans, not just if you're a member of the club. There's a whole list. I could read them all, and because we've been to several of them and we're not members. They also, yeah, so I would say the inside stuff does benefit the community as well. And if you're not a veteran, you can also come in and have dinner as well, so. Yes.
Thank you for educating me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, potentially some of this money could go to a open for the public sign or something, because I didn't know, I've always assumed, well, I'm not a veteran and maybe I don't drive by on the days that it's open to everybody, or something, because I always assume I can't go in there, so.
I thought there was limited to going in with that, with
With a
somebody.
member.
Correct.
On the normal days, yes, you go in, you sign in with who you're a guest of.
Right.
But on the days they have their events open to all veterans.
But it's still only veterans.
Yeah,
Well, that's,
veterans and their families are.
can you explain the membership? We have a representative here, so.
Thank you.
My name is Phil Morton and I'm the current commander there. There's for the last year and a half. But basically, there's three sections to the American Legion, three types of membership. There's veterans, men and women who were actually served in the military. Then there's sons of the American Legion, and the sons are people that are males that have fathers, mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers, uncles, aunts, somebody blood related that was in the military. And they have all the same membership features that the Legion people do. Then they have the auxiliary, which is the women's auxiliary. It's the same kind of a thing. The women, if their husband or their aunt, uncle, dad, or mom, or grandpa, or grandma, etc., were in the military, they're in. They have all the same benefits that everybody else does. And then during cruise-in and
Robin Hood.
There's about 4 or 5 days that we let people in, just the general public in, cruise in and Robin Hood Festival. And then other special events like Veterans Day, all veterans can come in and their families. And you can sign anybody in. Children. Bands, etc.
It's really interesting because for the veterans side of it, what's interesting is Congress actually Congress sets what the membership rules are. And they just recently opened that up. It used to be veterans in very specific windows, like during Grenada or the first World War II, in Vietnam, but that's been opened up, so that's no longer the case. It's any veteran at this point.
That is correct. Now it's if you've served 1 day since December 7th, 41, then you've been qualified. And like
Used to be VFW, you had to serve in a foreign war.
that's exactly right. Yes. Okay. And so that's a little different, so quite a bit broader.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm supportive.
Renee? Oh, I can't remember if you weighed in yet. I'm just going around the room.
I don't care one way to be honest.
Okay.
If the majority wants to support, then I'm in favor of supporting.
Dan?
I'm in full support of the American Legion requests.
And Keith?
I agree with Doug.
All right. Three taken care of.
Did Taylor Wayne? Did you?
Yeah, did you?
My numbers are up there. I funded them all.
Now we have 2 projects remaining, the Moorback House and the repainting of Old Town. One thing I wanted to point out is we have $199,000 if we want to continue with that 20% reserve goal. So $199,000, but we have $229,000 in requests. But
So how much do we have left over once we've funded the Legion projects?
135.
Minus one.
About 60.
60, yeah.
I would fully fund the windows of the Moorback House. This is just my opinion, and then, I mean, all of these are gonna get done, whether through the CEP or through the city's budget, so. I just think we funded Moorback stuff prior, because the city owns that, I don't understand why we wouldn't want to fund those windows. And keep our asset in good working order.
And so folks understand why I didn't put any dollars on the city ones, because in talking to Craig, those are already budgeted, and I wanted to favor the external applicants and not our internal projects. So that's why I didn't put any there.
Well, you sort of did, you put 63, you put the balance.
The
To be
balance,
spread
yeah, I
out.
put the balance to be spread out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I essentially did the same, but I did the full for Moorback and then only 10 for repainting, and we'll figure out the rest, but.
I'd like to remove my 20,000 on the retaining, or whatever I have in my column. I'd like to remove that now.
So we have 3. Are you in favor, Mayor, on 30,000 for the Moorback House? Okay.
I'm in favor of that too. That still gives us that takes us up to 165K, correct?
And then fund
And that is working.
65K, yeah.
And then just fund the rest out of city budget, and
Yeah.
then we'll put the balance back into the account and save for bigger projects. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
I'd like to say more for bigger projects, but I'm anything out with it, so.
So,
compromise.
the repainting of the old town, we'll just pay out of the street ops fund like it currently is budget.
Yeah.
Takes a long time.
So now, hold on, before we put that full amount in there, or whatever.
For this?
So there was one discussion about the Festival of Lights, though, how we talked about how, well, that's gonna, you know, because we're gonna hold them and.
Funding it out of the city budget.
I know we're funding the outlets, right? Are we-
Project.
Are we actually funding getting new light displays? We talked about,
We were gonna have a committee, we closed the book on this one, which is why it's not yellow. Cause we're gonna have the Cultural Arts Commission get involved in making those and figuring out what we wanna do and making sure they're compatible and
I'm coming back.
vendor selection and everything else and coming back to council with a recommendation.
And ask that
Okay.
Dave and Russell work with that committee.
Yeah.
Share their
Okay.
ideas.
And I think it was like a multi-year project. It was gonna-
Okay.
It already was, but.
perfect, I just didn't want it to get lost that we were, because it looks like we're funding nothing to them. In reality, what we're doing is we're saying, we as a city are committing to doing that,
Correct.
and accomplishing the goal.
So two things we've committed to is commissioning that work through the Cultural Arts Commission, and we're going to, out of the general fund, get all the outlets all ready to go,
Right.
which
Okay,
Greg
perfect,
has in his notes already.
great, yep.
And just to make sure for folks listening, again, all these projects are gonna get funded. We're just talking about under which bucket they're gonna get funded. Yeah. All right.
Correct.
Yep. Do you have everything you need, David?
We have everything we
Do we
need.
have to take official action on this, or are we good?
I think we need to vote
Do we
on
need to
that.
vote on the final slate?
Yeah,
I make
So
a
did people
motion.
change their opinion on repainting the old town numbers? You got 4 people of the 7 that have dollars.
oh,
there.
yeah, we do have,
So if
okay.
somebody removes it, then it's
Oh, okay.
gone, but right now you do.
You can remove my 20,000.
Just paying it. Stickler.
Oh, because we're doing 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can remember my deal.
We're doing 30.
30 up here for the Moorhead House.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
I make a motion to approve the slate.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving this slate of projects as documented in column D of the spreadsheet, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay. All right, motion passes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, and that is our last item, so we'll adjourn the meeting.
You told me I didn't.
We'll start our time at 7 o'clock.